Hey guys, welcome back to Adapted Adventures. I'm Casey, and on this channel we talk about everything from wheelchair equipment to accessible travel tips and lifestyle tips. On this week's video, I'm excited because Andre and I are getting ready for a beach getaway. So I just wanted to kind of show you all the different things that I'm going to be bringing along to help me be more independent and have a great time on our trip. So the first thing I'm going to tell you about is my Freewheel. If you want to see a full review on how you set it up and how I set it up on my chair, be sure to check out the video that we'll link somewhere. But today I'll just kind of show you a real quick thing, or like real quick how I do it. So it attaches to the front of my chair, and I can either do this while I'm in the chair or while I'm sitting on the ground like we will today. And it attaches to my foot plate really quickly like this. And then we just clamp it down. And then when you swing the front wheel underneath, it brings my front casters up off the ground. And this makes weight displacement for in the sand on the beach, like for this time, a lot better because it displaces the weight over a wider area. So my front wheels don't dig into the sand as much. And then when I'm using it on other trips, it prevents me from having to, when I'm going over rough terrain, I don't have to worry about my front casters digging into a crack on a sidewalk or a root on a tree or something like that. So that's how it goes on the front when I am using it. And then it does come with this nice little bracket that you can put on the crossbar on the back of your chair. So when it's not in use, or like if we go into a store when we're on a trip and I don't want to have it hanging off the front, you can just quickly, or like when we're traveling at the airport, you quickly put it up here, you lock it on, and it's back there, it's off the ground. And I have mine set, you can adjust the angle here, but I have mine set a little bit further down so that if I'm wearing a backpack, it doesn't, doesn't bump into it. I used to have it up higher and my backpack would hit this and it would release and fall. So as long as you make sure you have it set up so you don't hit that, you should be set. So that's the Freewheel. This one is it's a game changer for me on the beach. It really makes a difference to make sure those front wheels aren't digging into the sand so much. So we'll put a link down below. You can find them on a number of different durable medical equipment websites. I think they even sell them on Amazon. So, and they come in lots of different colors too, I think now too. So you don't just have to get black. You can probably find one that's your favorite color or something that goes with your chair if you want to be doing something like that. So, okay, so the next piece of equipment I'm really excited about. If any of you have seen some of my videos in the past on the channel, you know that I had a pair of beach wheels that I bought probably 5 or 6, 7, probably longer than that. Years ago, and I used them a handful of times, but I was actually kind of starting to get dissuaded from using them because they gave me so much trouble. And actually finally on our last trip down to Florida a few months ago, they did not make it back because I just got so frustrated with them. They got stuck on my wheels down there in Florida, or on my wheelchair, and I had to like pry them off. They ended up breaking part of my chair, and I had to get a replacement piece for that. So it turned into a hassle and it just wasn't worth it anymore. So I got rid of those, and I actually ordered a different set from a company, another DME kind of type provider out of the UK. And they came, so I haven't used them yet. But I'm really excited. Like, I haven't used them on the beach, I should say. I put them on the chair to see if they would fit. And I've pushed around with them in my house a little bit to kind of figure it out. But I'm excited to try them on the beach this trip for the very first time. And this is from the company, or the online store that I bought them from. Like I said, is from the UK, so I did have to wait for them to get. But it's Invictus actually. So they've got a lot of other cool stuff on their website, so make sure you check them out. And if you want these babies, they're on there as well. So these are a little bit different than my old ones. My old ones had a metal hub that was not solid, but like there was 2 metal plates that made up the hub. This one is actually, the rim is a fat bike tire rim. And then this hub here, like the center part that holds your axle, is actually a Sun rim, which is a wheelchair company. And then these are high tension spokes. They're not metal. I don't think they're metal. I think they're like Spinergy spokes, but they're thinner. They might be metal, but anyways. So these are a lot lighter, first of all. Difference from the other ones as well is that they're not quite as wide, which I'm okay with because I think that will be easier on my shoulders when I'm pushing too. I'm not out here like this pushing. I'm a little bit closer to my normal mechanics when pushing. They are taller this way though. So I'll show you in a minute when I put them on my chair how I adjust my side guards so that these fit. But I'm really excited about these. They came with extra long axles. They came with, I paid a little extra for the wheel bag, but I think that'll go a long ways in helping me travel with them more easily. And I'll show you here, the other thing that Andrea and I got to help with moving them through the airport is we got like a little, I don't know, a trolley kind of thing that we bought at like Harbor Freight for 15 bucks. But it's actually pretty sturdy and I think will be a great way for us to get them through the airport. I will gate check these as well because they were not the cheapest. And sometimes I've had a lot of bad luck checking, like not gate checking, what's the opposite of gate checking? Like ticket counter checking wheelchair equipment, because I feel like the longer you have, the airline has your equipment in their possession, unfortunately, the more opportunity they have to break it, whether that's inadvertently or them being careless. So I would always recommend, if you have equipment like this or a spare chair or anything like that, you insist on gate checking that as much as possible. So there's been a very few times where I've ticket counter checked equipment, and usually it's because it's an old piece of equipment that if they broke, I wasn't too hurt about it. So a couple of things, these are extra long axles to fit through here and to provide for because the wheel's a little bit wider. And then additionally, it came with these plastic spacers. So when I put these on my chair, it will allow the wheel to have a little bit more space away from the chair so that there's enough clearance so that I don't get rubbing on the sides. So give me a minute here, I'll get my chair into place and then we'll show you how they go on the chair. All right, so we got my everyday wheels off the chair, and you can see the side guards that I have on this chair are the ones with the like the wheel well kind of flange thing here. So that, as you can imagine, might create a little bit of a problem, because when we try to put these tires on, we're gonna have some clearance issues. So what I realized after I set these up a little bit is what I can do is there's two. This is my tie light, so this is going to vary widely depending on your chair stuff, but these are not, they're not welded onto the chair. They're adjustable and they're removable. So what I can do is I can take my Allen wrench and loosen the little bolts here. So I just want to let you know, guys, that like sometimes wheelchair maintenance and when I'm trying to do these types of things, or when you might be doing some of these things, it doesn't always go as planned. So I thought simply I'm going to show you how I'm going to loosen these bolts on my side guard and slip it up. And I had a bolt that was stuck. So you just have to be patient and kind of think through it so you don't break something. But what I did is in this situation, a little bit of WD-40 to loosen the stuck bolt. I got the power tool out, and the bolt was a little bit rounded out, or the screw, Allen wrench screw. So I used a different bit that on my power drill that grabbed a little bit more. And then also the other thing is, because I know that these are spring loaded, like there's springs behind these screws to kind of help squeeze this side guard a little bit more, I tightened the top one to hopefully relieve some pressure off this screw, and we got it out now. So the one that was stuck is loose, and now I'll just hand loosen the top one, and we'll get back to what I was going to show you. So what I was originally going to show you, and what I might have talked about already, is that we loosen these, and then in order to make sure that my beach wheels will fit on this chair, I'm just going to loosen these enough that I can slide the side guard around. And I realized when I was setting this up, I wouldn't do this for a long term, but while I'm using it at the beach with the beach wheels, I'm gonna slide the side guard up probably an inch, maybe a little bit less than that. And then I'm just gonna retighten these screws, and that will give me enough clearance that when I put the wheel on, it won't rub on this, I don't know what you call it, wheel well type side guard. So I loosened them up. I slid this up just a little bit, and now we'll tighten them back in. Okay, so I actually just had to do a little final adjustment there because I slid it up too much and it wasn't grabbing, but now that side guard is securely fastened there again. I have these little tabs that are actually quite neat from the tie light that stop the side guard from flipping out or like getting pressed out. And I loosened that too just so it didn't get in the way. So I'm just gonna retighten, oops, that's the wrong one. I'll retighten that bolt real quick. Or a screw, whatever you wanna call it. It's probably a screw. So now that's that tight, side guard slid up. We'll get some stuff out of the way here. Long axle. I'm using both spacers right now. So there's actually 3 of them that the wheels come with. Like a thick plastic one and 2 little ones like this. Depending on if you get these wheels and these axles, depending on your setup, you might have to use all of these. You might have to use only one of them. I need to use all of them. So we will get the wheel over here. And spacer's going on the inside, so we'll go 1 spacer, push it on, and then the last 2, and so also just so you guys know, these axles are pretty dry. They're actually completely dry right now. Because I haven't used this chair out, like, quote, in the real world yet. So I haven't lubed them up. But would highly recommend, anytime you guys get new axles at all, put some lube on them. Don't use, this is my personal opinion, there's probably a couple of different out there. Don't use WD-40 because that's it is a lubricant, but it's technically like something to break down, like bounded up things. So you want to, in my opinion, use something that's more of a grease. So I use like I don't have it here, but like a white lithium grease that gives a coating, not a corrosive, to put on your axles to keep them loose and lubed. If you have like something like I had that bolt that was bound up, use a corrosive like WD-40 because that's breaking down rust and things like that. But you don't necessarily want to have that on your axles all the time. So see now, like it's tight, but we made it, and we have the spacing that we need. Here it's not rubbing at all, and because we have that spacer, the wheel's far enough that we're not going to rub there at all either. So I'm just going to do the opposite to the other side, get the other wheel on, and I'll show you how it looks. We'll go from there. More business. I did slide it up enough, and I've been a little concerned about my clearance there a little on the right side here, but it's not rubbing right now. And like worst comes to worst, if I was, when we get down to the beach, if it's giving me trouble, I'll just take the side guard off and we'll go without, which will be just fine too. So as you can probably tell, like I talked about before, these beach wheels are taller than my other ones. And so you can tell that the front end of the chair is slanted. And so when I sit in it right now without the Freewheel, it is awkward and a little tippy, honestly. So it's a little bit tough, but you can tell that when I put the Freewheel on here, oh boy. Come on. And actually, we get look how much clearance we get. So that's gonna be great when we're on the beach. It'll keep my front casters up and out of the sand. And see how much it levels out my sitting surface. So I'm not gonna be like forward. I'm gonna be comfortably back in the chair. And that's gonna be great. Yeah, this has got really good clearance now. We're looking at a good at least an inch between the ground on flat surface. So that'll be great because as you know, like getting on the beach sometimes with how uneven it can be, sometimes these can drag a little bit, but it shouldn't be an issue at all. So that's how we get set up for the beach. I'm really excited to check this out and try these out for the first time. And I'll definitely tell you guys all how it goes. If I have to make an adjustment here with that little bit of concern of how much clearance I have on that side, we'll play that by ear. And like if I put my cushion back on, we still got plenty of like coverage here for my hips and stuff, so I'm not throwing sand into my cushion if we need to. And at the end of the day, if we have to pull them off, we pull them off, and we wash the chair when we're done. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and like I said, we'll do a full review of the wheels when we get back and I've used them for the first time. And we'll see you guys on the next Adapted Adventures.